technical group has everything working now. So welcome to the first of the critical technical sessions of the EPP MSI Education Science Forum. The session is on resilient coastal communities and economies. We're very pleased to have our first invited speaker of the afternoon, Kristen Yarincik from the Consortium for Ocean Leadership. And she'll be talking about an exciting new development and a full of enterprise inclusive training and mentoring program for Ocean STEM. Kristen.
All right. All right. Thanks to FAMU and to the conference organizers for giving me this opportunity to talk with you all today on behalf of my co-authors and partners from the Consortium for Ocean Leadership, Florida Institute of Oceanography, and FAMU. I'm excited to talk to you about a new initiative in development to rapidly improve diversity, equity, and inclusion in ocean STEM through an all-hands-on-deck approach across the ocean community. To date, we've been discussing this program with potential funders and the boards and members of our respective organizations. And this conference is the first time we are presenting it to an external audience. So this is our public launch, if you will. Let's see. Okay. So before I get into the details of the program, just a quick refresher on why it's needed. I know this is not new for any of you. NOAA's EPP MSI program has been providing opportunities for students underserved and underrepresented in ocean science for more than 20 years. But despite many effective experts in programs across our community, the ocean sciences continue to be among the least diverse of STEM fields, according to long-term data collected by my organization, the Consortium for Ocean Leadership, and other student demographic data sets. So this pie chart is a pretty clear example of the problem. This is a snapshot of just 1 year data of master's students graduating with ocean science degrees. You can see that the blue represents white students, and they significantly outnumber all other groups. Our data also show trends over the last decade or so. As an example, Black students represent on average less than 2% of doctoral recipients, and Hispanic and Latinx students represent less than 5%. And this is lower than their representation in other geoscience fields as well. At the same time, job opportunities in ocean STEM are growing more rapidly than many other parts of the economy. The new knowledge-based blue economy will likely create even more opportunities that are so critical to mitigating our local to national to global scale climate, resource, and resilience challenges. We need to ensure equitable and inclusive access to these jobs because it's the right thing to do, and also because we need diversity of perspectives and experiences to meet the STEM demands of our time and to build trust in science. So the program we're undertaking will solve this challenge. It will bring to bear the multiple sectors of our ocean STEM enterprise, leveraging and connecting existing opportunities and filling gaps through new opportunities to improve supportive pathways into ocean STEM. We will be complementary to and not competitive with existing programs. We'll be intentional and transformative, and the program can happen now. I do want to stress that the details of the program plan are still to be developed, and we'll be seeking input into that process. But there are some elements at a conceptual level we know will be included. The program will utilize a cohort-based approach and will support staff pathways into multiple areas of ocean STEM, not just graduate program and academic tracks. The blue economy needs a variety of skills, technical skills, and will include training and development in support of those areas as well. Participation in the program will start at an undergraduate or 2-year college or trade school level, and participants will receive long-term mentorship, professional development training, and support throughout educational and career transitions through their early careers. And there will be access to at-sea training opportunities. This at-sea component is perhaps one of the most exciting aspects of our program. Our partner at Florida Institute of Oceanography is in the process of securing a vessel donation, which will put the DEI mission first in the at-sea research and training experience while we conduct good science. Having a dedicated vessel for this mission will greatly accelerate the pace of systemic change in ocean science and will set an example for at-sea experiences that are free from harassment and other marginalizing activities and behaviors. It will allow us to customize technology, particularly in developing and demonstrating a new paradigm for telepresence and remote research and learning, and align science programming with the needs of the students and partners of the program. The vessel would be based in Florida with an operating area to include the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean, and Southeastern United States. The program will produce good science, and the science plan will be defined as part of the program plan in the coming year. And by finding the alignment between the research and learning needs of our participants, the science goals of our partners, including federal agencies, and the capabilities of the vessel. The vessel is ROV capable and can support science across numerous areas, including exploration, mapping, oceanography, fisheries, ocean health, and marine archaeology, and serve many blue economy applications. You all did an exercise this morning where you were looking at questions for where you might cite offshore wind. And another area of this where marine archaeology comes into play is identifying areas of submerged cultural significance. As an example of something this program could do. And so other technology training can include observing systems, computing, data visualization, and telepresence. Through the planning process, we'll focus to a manageable set of science priorities for the launch of the program and then grow from there. This program will require collaboration and partnership with many organizations across the community. And these partnerships can take on many forms as we explore the details of the program and how it connects to other initiatives. 3 consortia make up the core or founding partners of the program. 1, the Consortium for Ocean Leadership, a national community organization with membership spanning sectors of ocean science, including academia, industry, philanthropy, aquariums, and nonprofits. The Florida Institute of Oceanography, a Florida-based consortium of institutions not unlike Ocean Leadership. Both these institutions will work within their national and state-based spheres to facilitate partnership and collaboration to advance community ocean science and education priorities. And finally, the Center for Coastal and Marine Ecosystems, as you know, one of NOAA's cooperative science centers through initial partnership with FAMU. We've also started initiating discussions with a number of other organizations and federal agencies and confirmed collaboration from a few so far, including Diving with a Purpose, the Society of Black Archaeologists, and the IUS Association. Again, we're at the early stages of this process, and we'll be having conversations with potential partners and stakeholders throughout the coming year as we build awareness of the program and seek input into the program plan. We hope that all of you will be part of this community-wide effort to accelerate leadership and create systemic change in ocean STEM. All right, as I hope I've been stressing throughout this presentation, we're just embarking on this formal planning phase, and I want to thank the Schmidt Ocean Institute and the Schmidt Family Foundation for their generous support that's enabling this. In this planning process, we'll establish an advisory group to help digest and prioritize the information we hear from the community. We will be conducting convenings and conversations with various groups and individuals, and we'll take advantage of conferences like this as much as possible for in-person discussions. While we frame the program at a conceptual level, we will need to identify the specific details and timelines of how the program will work, including what the cohorts will look like and how the program will be evaluated. We need to finalize acquisition of the vessel and other technologies to support the program. While it's most likely the program implementation phase would formally start in 2023, there may be some pilot or pre-programmatic activities that can take place in late 2022 as we test technologies and get the vessel ready. I very much appreciate hearing from all of you as we plan the program. Our goal is to ensure the program meets the needs of the students that we'll support and the institutions we collaborate with. We want to learn from your experiences working within these programs or being part of these programs and working across programs. What was good, what wasn't good, so that we can all reach the goal of an improved and more diverse ocean STEM community and workforce. The Consortium for Ocean Leadership has a table downstairs, and I'll be there as much as possible, but also just floating around the conference. So please do come talk to me. I've also listed my email address here. There's lots of ways for students, faculty, and others to participate in this planning process, whether it's through input and feedback to the program plan, building connections with other programs, identifying formal collaboration and partnership opportunities, or signing on to mentor students. So please do find me and talk to me. So yeah, thanks again for the opportunity to talk for the first time about this to an external group, and we're excited to work with all of you. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Kristen, for sharing that with us. I've been excited to been part of the engagement with Consortium for Motion Leadership at Florida Institute of Oceanography. And it's here in the audience too, and it's the director of that. We have a lot of time for discussion on this topic coming forward. And first, though, I'd like to see if you have any questions from the chat or Q&A online. Okay, well, while you pull that up, do we have any questions from the in-person audience?
So I'm curious what makes ocean STEM specifically, or what you would think what makes ocean STEM specifically the least diverse of our STEM fields?
I think there's probably others in the room that can speak better to some of those barriers, but I think having the opportunity to get to the field, especially in an oceanographic vessel, it's expensive. It takes a lot of time. Often you have to spend a lot of time away from other obligations. I think the messaging around ocean science and a lack of clarity about what the job opportunities are, which is hopefully improving with these discussions around the new economy. Yeah, those are some. I would love it if others would jump in on that.
I would be happy to open this up to discussion.
I know, speaking for myself and many that come from a similar background, there's just isn't a lot of information going into minority communities about the available opportunities in research. When I was coming up, the only thing I knew that you could do with science is become a doctor or become a pediatrician, which is pretty much what everybody wants to do. Particularly in the biology department, everybody's either becoming a doctor or a pediatrician. And it wasn't until I was pushed by mentors, programs similar to this, where I was opened up to the world of environmental science and understanding there's a whole broad spectrum of sciences. So it's really just an available information. People are willing to go to these communities and telling kids about these opportunities. Grade school experience, STEM experiences are very important. And so if I were to tell kids that, hey, you play on a cool boat, but you also get to learn at the same time, it will be all for it. It's just a simple fact that they don't have that information available to them.
Yeah, and there are a lot of programs working at like the K-12 level to build that awareness, and we would connect to those, and maybe some K-12 would be part of a growth phase of this program. But there's also ocean science, like a lot of the basic science disciplines can feed right into ocean science and actually make you very strong in an interdisciplinary ocean science field. So I think it's also messaging to undergraduates within those degrees that they can still go on to graduate school and pursue marine focused degrees.
Any other questions?
This is the first time I hear the term blue economy. Could you go into that?
Sure. I'm surprised Dr. Spinrad didn't talk a little bit more about it in his talk this morning, because this is definitely something he's pushing. But the blue economy, I think, traditionally has been industry that works in the ocean space. So whether that's shipping, oil and gas, ports, and a variety of those kinds of things. This new blue economy is more about taking oceanographic data, other information, and turning that into usable products to solve challenges like climate change related solutions. And also like the renewable energy, offshore wind, those are all also part of this new blue economy. So moving from less from a extractive kind of industry and view of the blue economy to one that's like solution oriented and information based.
Hello. I just had a question. So I know that for minorities, like you were saying, a lot of times they don't see ocean STEM as being a possibility for multiple reasons. So I guess I have like two questions. Like, how do you plan on creating security for these students? I guess like scholarships, or is it like, you know, you go from undergrad to like graduate school? And also, how do you plan on creating a safe space for these students?
That's a great question. So I think one thing we've all learned over the past decades trying to do this is that no one program or organization can do it alone. And so because you know, Ocean Leadership is an ocean science community organization, we have connections and membership with sectors, all of the sectors engaged, including the federal agencies, but not formally as members, but we work closely with them. And so I think it's about identifying all of those connections in a pathway and helping students navigate them. And also the networking to, you know, to different sectors and to different industries within those and organizations within those. It's all about supporting students through that process, regardless of what their chosen pathway is going to be. And I think it's an organization like Ocean Leadership, we have the arms into all of those areas to be able to do that. And I feel like I missed one part of your question, so let me.
Well, I mean, the last part of my question, I was just asking, how do you create a safe space for these students? Because I know, like you said, it's a very low percentage of minority students that are involved in these in ocean STEM. So I was just asking, how do you plan on creating a safe space or providing a safe space, not necessarily, you know.
Yeah, so there's kind of two sides to that. One, a dedicated vessel is going to be an amazing vehicle for doing that because the DEI mission is first. And so the students, the mentors, and even the crew can be all, you know, represented by diverse groups. So the environment itself will be diverse and hopefully inclusive that way. But Ocean Leadership has also been working on the issue of anti-harassment and safety in the field sciences and ocean science specifically through support from National Science Foundation. So we have, you know, a whole set of recommendations that will be part of, you know, implementation of this program aboard a vessel.
Thank you.
So I was curious if you're only specifically looking at like racial and ethnic minorities, or if you all have thought about including other marginalized identities within this kind of idea of increasing diversity in ocean STEM.
Yep, at the moment, all of the above is on the table. I think the thing that we need to put the most thought behind is what might its individual cohort look like. And that's what this planning process will help us do. And a cohort will look different from year to year, but kind of really focusing on where what we'll do there in the next phase.
Awesome, thank you.
You mentioned you were going to recruit maybe like at 2-year colleges, like early career. Are you aiming just for like undergraduate, or is it going to be more also opportunities for graduate students, or like who's your target
Yeah,
type of
great
students?
question. I think the primary target audience, and especially like the ideal entry point, might be at that kind of undergraduate or, you know, not graduate level. But that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be opportunities for graduate students to participate in the program as well. Certainly once you have entered pre-graduate school and you remain in the program, it's meant to be this sort of long-term support.
So I see there that your planning phase is 12 months. So when are you guys planning to start, to kickstart?
Yeah, we're actually in the process of bringing somebody on board to lead this, to dedicate 100% of the time over the next 12 months to moving this forward. So no.
That position was advertised through the CSC.
Yeah, it was.
So you will start like looking for students right away?
So in terms of participants,
Yes.
probably not until more like the fall when we have a clearer idea of what the program plan is.
I see.
The program, like the first official cohort and launch of the program in the implementation phase, probably won't be until like early 2023 calendar year. But I think there's going to be lots of opportunities before that to engage with students and kind of test different ideas as we're working on like our telepresence technology, or, you know, getting the ship ready for the full participation, yeah, I think there'll be opportunities.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion?
Do you want to clarify anything?
The only thing I would add is that, and I think it gets to your question, is not just identifying the groups of marginalized students, but it's the program has to have this community connection. And so we throw this word around of the community, and you want scientists to look like the community. So the first thing you have to do is define community, right? Some people define community, very geopolitically. Others define it based on racial composition. So there are all kinds of different ways. So I think that's a key first step, is defining community so that you're making sure when people say, okay, we want scientists to look like community, we've actually defined what that is.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you so much, Kristen.
Yeah, thank you.